we're gonna ignore a couple of things. We're gonna ignore the mess behind me, because I know you can kind of see it. We're going to ignore that the camera is shifted a bit, because I don't know. It's level. Don't know. And we're going to ignore, obviously, the rosacea, but we ignore that every week. So let's just move on. So this week we were talking about conventions, and I absolutely adore conventions. It's one of my favorite pastimes. The 2 that I go to per year, I staff both of them. I do want to add a third to my year, just for fun, one that I don't staff, one I'm just an attendee for. I used to have that as in Youmacon, but I've become so disillusioned by Youmacon, unfortunately. So I'm deciding to move on from Youmacon. So post in the comments below conventions that you love going to, and maybe I can make those work. When I first started going to do conventions back in 2007, I really loved the idea of just having Anime Detour, which is the one that I currently now staff, one of the ones I staff. I'm video staff for that. I was just going to go to Anime Detour every year and then kind of pick a new convention to go to every year. And then I got into a weird little slump with Youmacon, where it was like I just wanted to go back to Youmacon. So I was Detour Youmacon, Detour Youmacon, Detour Youmacon, and then I added Geek.Kon to the mix because I joined Geek.Kon staff, which is a multi-genre convention. I am head of, or co-head of guest relations for that convention. And so I jumped from kind of those 3 conventions, and so I kind of got into this position where I wasn't going to new conventions anymore, and I want that to change, because that was kind of the whole point of me going to conventions to begin with, was kind of learning about all these different conventions and meeting new people and things like that. Going to the same conventions over and over again, yeah, you meet new people, you learn new things, but I never got to experience new things at these different conventions, because every convention kind of has its own little quirks, and every convention has its own little thing. And that's the fun part about going to different conventions. So my list of conventions is ridiculous. I'm going to post it below, but I'm quickly going to run through really fast. So 2007, I went to Anime Detour, Ai-Kon out in Winnipeg, Anime Evolution in Vancouver, actually at that time was in Burnaby. 2008, I went back to Detour, went to ACen, or Anime Central, out in Chicago. And then 2009, I went to Detour again, then started going to Youmacon. And so from 2009 to 2011, it was just Detour and Youmacon. And then 2012, I added Anime Fusion for 1 year to my list to help out staff their convention. They were a brand new convention that year, just decided to help out staff their convention that 1 year and then move on. And then 2013, I added in Geek.Kon. So from 2013 up until 2015, it was Detour, Geek.Kon, then Youmacon, and then last year it was just Geek.Kon, or just Anime Detour and Geek.Kon. So that's kind of my list. I'm going to have it posted below, but I figure it's such a tongue twister trying to name off all of those things, and it's boring. But really, the one thing that I can just say about conventions, actually I said many, many years ago, 9 years ago to be exact, or to be specific, I should say, and I'm going to post that link, or that clip right here.
I think I like anime conventions more than I like actual anime. Is that sad? Anime conventions are just so much fun. 3 days of pure fun and excitement and meeting voice actors and going to panels and taking pictures and hanging out with people who love something that you love and not feeling like an outcast. It's great. I love it. Anime conventions rock. So if you guys like anime, go to anime conventions. If you guys like Star Trek, go to Star Trek conventions. If you guys like Red Dwarf, I love you. Go to Red Dwarf conventions.
That was actually from that channel that we talked about a few weeks back, where we were reacting to our first ever videos on YouTube. And that was one of the videos that I just kind of I'm just going to step back. Whew, well, that fell over. That was just me being very, very excited about going to Anime Detour in 2008, and I just really love conventions. I just really do. I've always loved them ever since I started going in 2007, and going to Anime Detour was actually kind of an accident. It was just something that I heard about and decided, well, I mean, if the anime club on my college campus does it, I guess, by gosh, I'm going to go to Anime Detour and I'm going to have fun. I went to Anime Detour, and day one, 5 o'clock, I had my parents drop me off. I commuted from my parents' house, which is the house I currently live in. Commuted from my parents' house, and I didn't want to deal with parking, so I just had my parents drive me, or my mom drive me. I called my mom at about 5 o'clock and said, I'm done. This is too overwhelming. This is too much. I'm done. And she said, give it a couple more hours, and a couple of more hours turned into her picking me up at 1 o'clock in the morning. It was very overwhelming my first time at the convention, but I really got into it, and I could not imagine doing anything else with my life right now. I just absolutely love conventions, and I want to continue to do conventions, and I love staffing. Staffing is a whole different realm of conventions. You get to learn so much about conventions when you staff. I am video staff for one, guest relations for another, so two very, very different staffing examples. So with video, I have my set hours that I have shifts, and I go in for my shifts, and I do my thing, I count, I change DVDs, I do that. And then with guest relations, I always have to explain to people I'm never off the clock. If a guest needs me at 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm getting my butt out of bed and I'm getting whatever they need at 2 o'clock in the morning. It hasn't happened yet, but at some point I'm sure it will. Luckily, I've been very lucky with Geek.Kon so far that we have not invited any divas to the convention where that could possibly happen. So we'll see. We'll see. You know, as much as I love especially staffing conventions also comes with all kinds of crazy drama. But you know, it is what it is. It's like any other workplace in the world. It's so much fun. If you have an opportunity to volunteer at a convention or to staff a convention, I say do it, because it is a whole different experience to staff or to volunteer. I've never actually truly volunteered at a convention. If I have an attendee badge, I'm an attendee. I've also been press at a convention, but I am definitely a fan of staffing. But yeah, I love it, and I love it so much. I do. It's so much fun. So if you guys have any questions about the conventions I go to, or conventions that you think that I would love to go to and add to my new one every year that I want to try to do coming up again like I used to do, post in comments below. Also on my channel, I do have a series that I have done a couple of videos for, but I want to continue doing, where I give convention tips and I just talk about conventions. And stay tuned, because I am creating a documentary about conventions that I really, really need to get my butt going on again, because some of the interviews are like 4 years old now. So I really need to get on that and finish up that documentary and really just get moving on it. Just do it. Just do it. I will see you guys all next week. And Kayo-chan, we will see you tomorrow, because for some reason I thought we were going to see you today, because I thought today was Tuesday, but you know what? It's not Tuesday. It's Monday.